Hey, so we decided to come back and do this again because we've received a lot of great feedback from everyone out there. I have an apology to make. The first video we did, I said, hey, leave your comments about what Rush meant to you. And I'm new at navigating all of this stuff, and so somehow I turned off the comments. So for this video, we're going to try to fix that. So if you want to go ahead and leave comments about what Rush Limbaugh meant to you under this video, that would be great because we would love to read those. We're a little festive today. We came from a party with some of our friends.
She still has this on.
Yeah, as some of you know.
And she got me 2 crabs.
Yeah, Holly wants to share with you that she got 2 hermit crabs today.
And they have painted shells.
And they have painted shells. And so we had to tell you that today. I'm a sucker for critters.
Yes, I am too.
But our friends had a party today. As you know, here in Texas last week, we were pretty frozen. It was pretty cold and crazy. So they had a, I guess you would call it like a break the ice party. Ha ha ha.
Or like a yay, you survived the cold.
Or maybe yay, the 70-degree Texas weather is back for maybe a few days or till Texas decides to do something else strange. But
yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, the weather is back to what we're used to and what we like, warm here, and we're enjoying it again. But today, Holly and I wanted to talk about 2 things that you're not supposed to talk about. They're really taboo. At least when I was growing up, I had a grandfather who was like, yeah, no, you don't talk about those things.
Which is not true. Not true.
What are they?
Politics and religion.
Yeah.
And those are like the 2 things that you should really talk about.
Why?
Because they're actually kind of like the most important things.
Okay. Why? You're doing good. Just go with it. It's better.
It kind of names you too, like what you believe.
Yeah.
You need to let people know that this is what I believe. So,
Hey, is it safe to like say what we believe anymore in today's world, or do we get land blasted for it or censored?
We do get censored and all that stuff, but we should still let it out there.
Isn't it kind of scary?
Yeah.
To be censored right now?
Yeah.
Like, I was reading today, I like Glenn Beck. I don't agree with everything he says. I don't agree with everything that everybody says, but I feel like you can kind of pick and take things, and over the years, a lot of things he said, I mean, really, he's been right, so you kind of just take everything with a grain of salt, but he brought up some interesting things, and they're not theories, they're things that are really happening, like Amazon is slowly not carrying books that they feel promote hate speech. Now, how do you define what hate speech is? And I mean, this whole cancel culture thing, that's a tongue twister, is so crazy that it's like, so what now exactly is hate speech? I mean, how are they defining that? And who's defining it? And why are we allowing them to choose the narrative and define what words mean? It's absolute insanity.
That's just going to cause some Republican person to make their own shipping company.
Yeah, we need more conservatives. That's a great point. We need more conservatives to step up and start companies that don't censor and, freedom of speech. And that's an excellent point because, I'm trying to think, what's the book Nolan just read? To Kill a Mockingbird. So I'm guessing that's a great classic, and there's stuff in there that's really great for us to learn, so that we don't repeat history, so we don't treat people the way some of those people were treated back then in that book. But if you erase all of history, then what do you have to learn from? I mean, sometimes we keep things not because they're great, but it reminds us, hey, let's not ever, ever, ever do that again. Let's not ever revisit slavery. Let's not ever revisit any kind of Holocaust. There's been many, and I think of the Jewish people. There was in Rwanda, Africa, there was a genocide out there. There's been lots of genocides in different countries, and those things are, and what's scary is a lot of them start out like this stuff with the censoring and this thought crime. It's pretty crazy. But what were we talking about? I got way off Oh, politics and religion. We were talking about politics and religion. That's what we've been talking about. So I guess I didn't get way too off, did I? And you were talking about why it's important to stand up for what you believe in.
Mm-hmm.
Do you ever get scared?
No, I don't really care what they have to say.
She's a lot braver than me. I mean, I do, but I don't. I mean,
They can say what they want.
Well, we gotta stand up for what we believe in, but you know, it's a good point. I think sometimes, and kids are great because they're not cynical and they haven't been, what's the word?
Brainwashed?
Well, yeah, they haven't been brainwashed like us adults, but, you know, when we're standing up for what's right, especially when it's biblical principles and truth, how do you go wrong? Like, if you're standing up for the truth. And I mean, and really, I think the point that our country's at is we need bold truth tellers because that's going to be what saves this country.
It's very confusing when you have a Democrat that's a Christian, but they're not supporting stuff that's Christian.
That's good. I mean, so, like, what things, for example?
Like, they're Christian. They say they're Christians, but they are all for abortion.
Yeah, I don't get that.
They're all for voting for Hillary or Joe Biden.
Who support those things like partial birth abortion and things like that, and things that are not, you know, socialism. That's not biblical. I mean, you know, Jesus was talking about not being lazy and going out and working, and we're not supposed to just, you know, just take and really, I mean...
And if you know the Bible, then why are you supporting that kind of stuff?
I'm not going to argue with her. I mean, you know, you're smart.
Okay.
I can't argue with that. That's really a great point.
Yeah.
It's a great point. And, you know, and here's something, too, I thought about is in the Bible set up the perfect government in the Old Testament.
Mm-hmm.
Think about Daniel and Joshua. You know, what did they do? They served in civil government in their time, and they influenced nations. You know, and that's biblical. So because there's a lot of, well, you shouldn't be involved in government. Okay, well, Proverbs 29:2 says that when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice, but when the wicked rule, the people mourn. So I think while we're alive here on this earth, we have a responsibility, and not like that, but when the wicked are in power, things like, you know, the Holocaust with the Jewish people and all those other Holocausts happen. So I really believe we're supposed to stand in the gap as Christians and pray, but not only pray, but we need to be involved. We need to stand up for babies. Babies are helpless. They can't speak out or stand up for themselves, and we as Christians need to stand up and speak out for those helpless babies and for anyone in our culture that's being, you know, hurt. I mean, I don't know how many people know this history, but do you know that the Republican Party was started to stop slavery?
Actually, I knew that and I didn't know that.
But it's ironic because the other side says that they're racist. But one thing I've learned is that the other side will often accuse you of what they're doing. Have you noticed that too?
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy. So I think no matter what, you know, and they always like to try to get you mad and stuff, but there you go back to those biblical principles
it's just like dealing with people at school that don't like you.
Or anywhere in the world for that matter. There's always going to be people that don't like you, but you know what? What did we talk about earlier today? It gives us a tougher skin. It makes us stronger because God sometimes allows difficult situations to build us up, to make us stronger, to be able to go through whatever's next. Like cancer, for me, was rough last year, but do you think I'm a different person now because of it?
Yeah, you don't worry about stuff like that anymore.
Yeah, and it stunk going through with it, but I have a closer relationship with God. I have a closer relationship with you, your brothers, and your daddy. And, you know, God can always take bad things and turn them to good, and he certainly did with that.
Yeah.
And he made me realize that my time is short and I need to be busy about doing what he has for me to do.
And the key to it is honestly, if you ignore them and be kind, you'll be perfectly fine. And honestly, they can't really see anything back because there's nothing to really push on you.
What's the hardest thing to do with people who are mean to you, but we really need to do it?
Forgive.
Forgive. We gotta forgive.
It's hard not to like get super mad.
You know, I think the best way, it is, but the best way to do it is even when you're mad, just to start praying for them. And sometimes when I'm really mad, I'm like, God, I don't want to pray for these people. Yeah. Just help me pray for them. And then it gets better over time because forgiveness leads to bitterness. Yeah. Which totally ruins our testimony for Christ.
And I live with 2 older brothers, so I kind of like have a short temper.
Yeah, well, they provoke you. And you provoke them sometimes too. So back to, forgiveness is important, and I'm glad that came up. Mm-hmm. But back to the government, we need to be involved because we are affected by our government. We need to educate our children about the Constitution, how our government works. And, they've been going to Republican Club meetings since they were babies. They have not always liked it. But it's really molded what they believe. And, of course, when they get older, they're going to choose their own beliefs. But as parents, we have a responsibility to build a strong foundation. It's our responsibility. It's not the school's responsibility. It's not the teachers. It's not the Sunday school workers at church. They're our kids. We are responsible for what they believe. And so, and there's a whole other thing too. I know a lot of people are kind of discouraged with the whole voting thing, but as Christians, we have an obligation to vote, even when there's cheating going on, which certainly happened. And that would be called crazy for saying, but I do believe there was massive voter fraud.
Crazy.
In this last, well, you can call me crazy, but
I did that.
You did. But that's a whole other issue, a whole other rabbit hole. We'll go down a different day because, the whole issue of, well, does our vote even count if they're, yeah, it does, but we'll get into that another day.
It does, but sometimes I wonder if it's a waste of time because...
It's not. And why should we make it easy for them to cheat if they're going to cheat? Let's make it hard.
Let's do it.
I'm not going down that rabbit hole today. We'll do it another day. Oh. But, and when we vote, we have to vote on biblical principles, not on personality. Hey, I get that not everyone liked some of Trump's tweets, but I didn't vote for him on his personality. What did he believe in? He was pro-life.
Christian. He
was for borders. And let me tell you, I have done training on this child trafficking thing, and I'm going to tell you guys something. Why do they want these borders open? Because you know what? It's not. It's bad for a lot of these kids are recycled and they're child trafficked. They're murdered. There are lots of terrible things happening. They're recycled for illegals.
I've had some people at my school say that why do we have borders? They're stupid. And they're not, because they keep the illegal immigrants from taking illegal drugs and sex trafficking.
Thank you. Yeah, and if you don't have borders, you don't have, what is it? Michael Savage says you don't have culture and language. And, we have a right to protect those things. And if you look at the elites, well, look at the White House right now. They just built a wall around the White House. For the first time, I think, in history. I don't remember the White House. Why? Why do we have a wall? What are they afraid of?
Us.
I'm telling you, this kid is really smart. I don't know where you get it from, but it's not from me, but you're on the right track. So don't give up in despair. Don't give up in despair. It's the worst thing we can do. I think some of the things that are happening in today's world are because they want us to give up in despair. So don't do that. We have to promote good and resist evil. And if we're not involved, then we're not promoting good and we're not resisting evil. And kids in politics, teach your kids how the government works. Teach them to understand the Constitution, how to vote biblically, why it's important to vote. And then, and hopefully, and I believe they will for the most part, carry on our traditions.
Yes.
Thanks for listening to us today. Did you have anything else you wanted to say?
Make sure you all subscribe, like, and turn on all notifications.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. If you guys like this, do what she said. She's the smart one. Because we want to keep doing this, and so we want our message to get out there. And if you guys go on YouTube and you hit subscribe and you like our videos, it helps us to get our message out. And Matt, turn on notifications. All right, you guys, so stand on the truth, speak the truth. Know that God is behind you and his army of angels, and we are too. And I think she has something else to say.
Bye, hermit crabs.
Oh, she said good night to her hermit crabs.
Bye.
We'll see you later.